Welcome to Cooking with Chef Tuan, and today we are going to be making a delicious roast chicken with some crispy potatoes alongside with a white wine pan gravy. The chicken we're using today is about a 2.5 pound bird. Now it is very important for this chicken to come up to room temperature before we put it in the oven at 450 for an hour, which gives us great time to boil some potatoes. Now here I'm removing the wishbone, which is going to make carving a whole lot easier. Just make a couple slits at the top of the bird and just put your fingers in there and just pull the bones out. Now you might get a chicken that already comes with its legs tied like this using that little extra skin flap. What we're going to do is we're going to untuck the legs, season the inside with some salt, pepper. We're going to use a lemon, a garlic clove, and some fresh rosemary. You can also throw in some thyme or some sage if you want, whatever you want to spice up your bird with. And once we're done putting all the aromats inside of this chicken, we're going to tuck the legs back into the skin flap, just like this. And then we're also going to take some butcher's twine and truss the bird. Now what this does, it makes everything tighter and pushes all the meat together, so that way the whole bird cooks evenly. As you can see, I just tied it around the legs and just brought it up the sides along the wings and just tied a nice tight knot at the top. It's very important to make sure that the chicken skin is completely dry. You may want to use a paper towel to blot it all dry. Then we're going to go ahead and season it liberally with some salt and pepper. Now once that's done and we're waiting for our oven to preheat at 450, we're going to take those potatoes that we cooked earlier and we're going to break them up with our hands, season it with some salt, pepper, olive oil, a little bit of garlic, some rosemary, and some thyme. Now once you have everything in along with these potatoes, you just want to give it a nice quick mix to make sure that everything is evenly coated. And so we're going to cook everything today in one pan. We're going to use a cast iron skillet and we're going to put all our potatoes right on the bottom. Just like this. You want to spread it out into an even single layer, and then we take that chicken that's on that wire rack and we're going to place it right on top of our potatoes. And as you can probably see, this is going to be an awesome way to cook this chicken. All those juices are going to be dripping onto the potatoes, creating so much flavor. All right, into a 450-degree oven for 1 hour. After an hour, this is what you should get. Pull the chicken out and let it rest while you put the potatoes back in the oven for about 10 minutes. Listen to how crispy these are. Gonna be super delicious. And while everything is resting, and because we are so efficient, we're gonna make our pan sauce. Right, so in the same pan, we're gonna throw in some butter, some flour, and we're gonna stir this around to make a roux, and we're gonna cook off the raw taste of this flour. And right when it gets a little bit blonde color, we're gonna hit it with some white wine just to deglaze it a little bit and to start our gravy. And remember those chicken juices that were collecting at the bottom of the pan when the chicken was resting? Don't throw that away. It goes straight into this sauce. And right now, I'm also whisking in some chicken stock. And just like all sauces that are flour based, you got to bring it up to a full simmer. That way it activates its full thickening power. And once that's done, I'm going to move it into a little saucepan, squeeze a little bit of fresh lemon into it and give it a mix. And then our gravy is done. Now that our beautiful roast chicken has had plenty of time to rest, it is now the time to carve this bird. We're going to remove the leg quarters one by one, set it aside, and then we're going to remove the breast. As you can see, without the wishbone, it's so much easier to carve and to separate the breast without any obstruction. And now all I'm doing is slicing my breast at a bias and then putting on a plate with our thighs first, surrounded by our breast, the wings at the bottom, and then our chicken drumsticks right on top along with the crispy potatoes. And then once that's done, I'm going to put a nice sprig of rosemary for our final garnish, and let's bring this to the table. Guys, look at how beautiful our roast chicken has turned out with the crispy potatoes all around the side, fresh rosemary, that beautiful pan sauce. Let's dig in. Now remember when I said it was very important to make sure that the skin of this chicken is dry before it goes into a 450-degree oven, is because the skin, we need it to dry out, and that way it will keep all the moisture in and it will self-baste. So which will result in a super juicy chicken. All there is to do now is just to spoon on this beautiful luscious white wine pan gravy that we made onto our super tender chicken. It's so succulent that you probably don't even need a knife. This is one of my all-time favorite chicken preparations. This dish is super easy, not a lot of fuss, and it's incredibly delicious. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. If you like the content, please hit the like button. I love making videos and making content for you. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this dinner. Guys, thank you so much. Be safe out there, and as always, peace.